School. Legalized child labor. We all hate it, but we all have to do it. So what is the worst thing to happen to you at school? I got a swirly. I didn't know those things were real. I guess of course they are. I didn't think they happened outside of movies. When diarrhea decided to appear, oh no. Homework. I feel like that's gonna be a common response. My friend had a panic attack. Ooh, school, period. Buckle up, because this is a 2-in-1 story about embarrassing myself and also having the worst thing happen to me. So it was a casual morning, all classes in their respective areas in the open area. Wait, what? I don't know how to say it since I'm in school in the Middle East and it's common to find schools with open areas. Oh, so you're like in the courtyard? Is that what you're saying? Anyways, everyone was feeling okay except for me, since I almost vomited that morning. If you almost vomited that morning, why are you going to school? And now I'm at school since I'm dumb for thinking I was okay. Okay, gotcha. So after you vomited, you thought you were good. Bro, you good? And when I arrived, some kid insults me. I hope you fought him. But you see, this kid has been bugging me since the beginning of the year. Oh, snap. All right. So this time I was feeling it and just slapped him. Let's go! Violence is always the answer. So after that, I just went on. But then I felt a bit of pain in my stomach. But again, I'm dumb, so I assumed I was hungry because it usually happens. But then when it was time to go to our classes, I knew I was gonna vomit. That would have been sick if you vomited on the bully. So I just asked my teacher if I could go, but sadly I couldn't make it and vomited in front of the teacher, who likes me the most in all of the school. Another reason I have trust issues. What do you mean trust issues? Trust issues with your own body? The teacher probably doesn't trust you now. You vomited in front of the teacher though. That's important. You don't want to vomit all over your favorite teacher. Go to school? Yeah, that's pretty terrible. Going to school. Food. School food is terrible. People dabbing when that was a thing. I remember that being a thing. Back in like 2016, I was always too cool for dabbing. This was long ago, but in my first grade class, there were way more girls than boys. So when it was bathroom time, girls had to use the men's room. What? Excuse me? That meant the stalls were all in use. The teacher just assumed we knew how to use a urinal. We didn't. Okay, so this is first grade, which makes sense why you wouldn't know how to use a urinal. There's no way this is in America. There's never ever mingling of those two genders. First grade is probably the only grade you can get away with that, just because they're all little innocent children. But nah. Red alert. What? Oh, I've called my teacher daddy and everyone laughed at me. There's no way you did that on accident. It's one thing to call your teacher mom, but daddy? Someone threw a chair at a window and apparently another person thought it was a gun. Ooh. Whole school was locked down and surrounded by police. That or a bear on campus. What do you mean, or a bear on campus? Was there a bear on campus? Did the bear throw the chair? If there's a bear on campus, you don't want to break the glass. That took a weird turn. I was ahead of a political campaign that pretty much took over my school. That sounds like a good thing, not a terrible thing. Exist. Classmates disrespecting the teacher and you're the only one who's not. You end up getting in trouble even though you did nothing wrong. That was always the worst. There was always one group of people who would always be disturbing the teacher, right? Making them all mad and stuff. And then the rest of the class would get punished with them. And it's like, what the heck are we supposed to do? I might as well be just as annoying as them because I'm still being punished for it. This isn't even funny. This is just making me mad. Urgh. The worst thing I did is I threw a table at my teacher at first grade. This was the hardest thing to read in my entire life. Why is there random like two spaces? What? So one time in maybe second grade, I went to the bathroom and there was no toilet paper. That's when you take off your shirt and start wiping with that. I waited until another kid came to check on me and then they went into the second stall, but there was no toilet paper there either. So then we were both waiting for a third kid to come check on both of us. Do you mean he went into the stall, took a turd as well, and then now you're both stuck there? Pooped cheeks just filled with it, and neither of you have toilet paper. He didn't check beforehand, so now you're waiting on a third kid. We were there for like an hour until a teacher had to come. So you ask your friend for toilet paper, and he goes and takes a dump. Assignments. Someone stole a urinal last week. Don't ask how, I have no idea. What? He put it in his inventory. They locked the toilets. My school would do this too. They would lock all the toilets except for one bathroom, because I think anytime they would catch a kid like smoking in one of them, they would lock them all up, which obviously inconvenienced everybody. Meteor Strike. You're just vibing, doing an assignment, and then just all of a sudden it's over. I was playing tag with my friend in first grade and hit my head so hard on the support pillar, my head started to bleed. I have a story similar to this. My classmates carried me to the nurse's office. She gave me some ice to put on my head, then the teachers decided to rush me into the nearby hospital to go to the emergency room. Oh, balls, so it was like really bad. Where I was anesthetized anesthetized. I don't know how to say that, but you know what I'm trying to say. And got my part of the head that was bleeding stitched. Thank God I don't live in the US, so my parents were in debt. Story time with SimuRated. To set the scene, this is first, second grade. Me and my friends were playing a game that we called Moo. And Moo was just a game that you like literally just stood there and spinned as much as you can until you got dizzy. And so it'd just be whoever can spin for the longest. So we were playing Moo, and this is how they told me it went down. So we're spinning, and all of a sudden Josiah's over there, which is me, saying, guys, look how close I can get to the cinder block wall. And apparently I tripped into it, smashed my skull onto the brick wall, and at that point I was unconscious. I had no idea what was going on. I woke up on my couch. My brother, my twin brother, so he's in the same grade and everything, so we were all out there, he was telling me afterwards how I was still like conscious. I wasn't blacked out on the ground. I was still like standing, but like super wobbly, and I couldn't come up with good sentences or anything like that. You know, he put my arm around him and he walked me all the way to the nurses, where then my mom came and picked me up. Story time over. I accidentally sat in a teacher's class for an entire period and everyone was staring at me. And then I realized in the middle of the period, I was in the wrong class and had to embarrass myself and leave in the middle of the class. No. I've done the same thing, except I've never lasted for the half of the class. It was always like I walk in and before the bell rings, I'm like looking around like, these aren't the same people I'm normally sitting with. I was in the gym locker room and someone threw their underwear at me. They never went up to me and got their underwear back. And to this day, I don't know whose underwear it was or who threw it. Guarantee you, the person who threw it, it was not their underwear. It was probably their friends who's now trying to hide himself as he's naked, as his other friends pulled it off of him. You know what? I should stop talking about the locker room, because rule number one about the locker room is you don't talk about the locker room. When I went to the restroom, there were two people pissing all over each other. They were have fun. Excuse me, what? Nothing, because I'm homeschooled. The teacher left the class during a test and everyone started sharing answers. As you do. I didn't do it as I was already done and it was a subject I'm good at. Yeah, you're too good to share answers. I'm just sitting there bored, looking around, when I see the teacher had his laptop open. But I thought the teacher left the room and was on a video call to his phone, meaning that he could see everyone else. Wait a minute, so he's out of the room, but you could see the teacher with his laptop with a video call to his phone. I'm so confused. Either way, so the teacher could see the class giving each other answers. It wasn't so much of a deal for me as I wasn't sharing anything, but the rest of the class stayed in for the entire lunch. Suckers, dude. Gosh dang. I'm so glad a teacher didn't do that to me, because I would have definitely been there the entire lunch. In first grade, my teacher got me a cake for my birthday. Your teacher got you a cake? I want that teacher. So me and my classmate could eat it together. You mean you didn't even have to share with the whole class, or are you homeschooled? So like your classmate's your brother. But that day I told my mom I didn't want to go to school. So I didn't show up that day and the cake was eaten by all my classmates. The next day when I showed up, the teacher began making me salty about not eating the cake. Oh, excuse me? You didn't show up to eat the cake, bro. A teacher went out of her way to get you a cake and you didn't show up because you just didn't want to go. Out of all the days to not go to school, you should have shown up when there was cake. She said something like, yummy. The cake was so delicious. Yummy, yummy. That day I didn't like my teacher as I used to in the past. If she's trying to make you feel guilty about it, that's kind of lame. But at the same time, bro, why wouldn't you show up for the cake? The whole school of 70 kids? 70 kids? That's it for your whole school? Got in an all-out brawl during recess when I was in 5th grade, but I was the only one that got in trouble. I relate to that. So the only refocus I've ever gotten, if you guys know what refocuses are, it's basically like the evil slip. If you do something wrong, you have to like give it to your parents and everything, saying how sorry you are. You have to like write down what you did, making you feel all guilty and stuff. And I only ever had one, and it was for something that I never did. They were saying I got in a fight, and I was never in a fight. I didn't know what they were talking about. And so I'm like in the principal's office, the principal's yelling at me. I'm crying. This is like 2nd grade. She was just yelling at me to like admit it. And it's like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. So I'm just sitting there crying. It was terrible. Pissing myself. I hated 4th grade. Watch how everyone gets a partner and you don't. Just happened less than a week ago. No. Sucks to be the 3rd friend in the group when they limit the groups to 2 people. And then you're just lost. You're just lost. That's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Live, laugh, love.